The Karth Dominion's fleet hovered over Earth like a cloud of steel, each vessel a fortress of alien weaponry. Inside one of the ships, General Taresh observed the planet below with a smirk. "This death world," she said, voice dripping with mockery, "seems barely worthy of the name." Her warriors snickered, glancing at screens that showed images of human cities, streets lined with small shops, and tiny civilians walking without armor or visible weapons. Taresh sneered. "Look at them! No visible defenses, no weaponry worth mentioning. What could these creatures possibly do to resist us?" One of her captains, Captain Zarna, scoffed as she zoomed in on a few civilians standing at a crosswalk. "They don't even carry weapons openly. What could they be hiding? Sticks, perhaps? Rocks? Their weapons must be so small, they don't even need to carry them at all." The alien warriors chuckled. Earth's lack of obvious arms was a source of great amusement for the Karth soldiers, trained from birth to wield massive, complex weapons that towered over them. In their culture, a weapon's size was a direct measure of its power. If it wasn't enormous, it was weak. Meanwhile, Earth's diplomats stood in a sterile conference room at the United Nations headquarters, watching as screens lit up with images of the alien fleet. Ambassador Carter raised an eyebrow as he heard the alien general's mocking transmission. "Did she just say we don't carry weapons because they're too small to matter?" He leaned over to his aide, chuckling. "I don't think they understand subtlety." The diplomats exchanged glances, and one of them, a veteran negotiator named Foster, snickered. "Maybe we should show them our hidden arsenal. The weapons we carry closer to the chest, so to speak." Ambassador Carter grinned. "That just might work. Let's play along, give them a taste of Earth's finest psychological warfare." Minutes later, Carter initiated a video call with the alien leader. "Greetings, General Taresh," he said smoothly. "We understand you're curious about our weapons. We might not display them as openly as you, but make no mistake, they're powerful and very close to us. Perhaps closer than you'd think." Taresh's eyebrow ridges lifted. "You humans, you boast of secret weapons hidden in plain sight? Is that your way of stalling for time, or are you truly hiding something worth our attention?" "Oh, we keep them close, very close," Carter replied, a sly smile on his face. "They're always at hand. Why, you could say they're right between the legs." The diplomat snickered just out of frame as Taresh's expression twisted in confusion. She straightened, raising her voice. "Are you saying your species is armed at all times with a concealed weapon that you don't need to show openly?" "Precisely," said Carter, barely concealing his grin. "Our weapons might be smaller than yours, but don't underestimate them. It's not the size, General, it's all about how effectively it's deployed." Ambassador Carter and his team watched as the Karth warriors shifted uneasily on the screen. Taresh finally spoke, her tone laced with suspicion. "If your hidden weapons are as potent as you claim, then prove it. Show us." "Oh, I'd be delighted," Carter replied, feigning a grave look. "But, of course, our weaponry requires a specific touch. It's not something we can demonstrate lightly." The diplomats around him stifled their laughs, and one nudged forward with a flashlight, quickly explaining. "This, General, is one of our most versatile tools, capable of blinding and disorienting any enemy instantly. A single flick." He pressed the button, causing the light to beam brightly. "And any adversary is left dazed, momentarily helpless." The alien warriors narrowed their eyes at the flashlight, unimpressed. Taresh scoffed, waving her hand dismissively. "That's your hidden weapon? A device that merely emits light? Merely emits light?" Carter gave a knowing smile. "We carry it close to us at all times because, in the right hands, it's more than light. Used strategically, it's a blinding assault." He leaned closer to the screen, voice lowered. "But if you're looking for something a bit bigger, we also have this." He revealed a Swiss Army knife, carefully explaining its many functions, from its tiny blades to its advanced cork extraction capabilities, all while maintaining a completely serious tone. Each diplomat nodded solemnly, adding how versatile it was, leaving Taresh and her warriors dumbfounded. One warrior muttered, They keep these weapons so small and still think they can win? Taresh silenced her with a glare. There's something we're missing. Humans must be more skilled in the art of disarmament than we expected. Carter, hearing this, bit back a laugh. Oh yes, disarmament is our specialty. Why, some of our weapons are so effective they don't even need to be seen. We call it subtle disarmament. An advantage we keep very, very close to us. The alien warriors exchanged confused glances as Carter went on, holding up a paper clip. And here, General, is another Earth weapon, small, versatile, and essential to keeping order. With this, we can hold things together or tear them apart. It's all about how you choose to wield it. Captain Zarna scoffed loudly. Is this some kind of game to you, Ambassador? Tiny blades and blinding lights? What kind of warfare is this? Carter leaned forward, a mischievous glint in his eye. You don't understand, Captain. You see, in our world it's not the sheer size of the weapon that matters, but rather, the way it's handled. We Earthlings may prefer subtlety and finesse over brute strength, but I assure you, we're just as deadly. He leaned back, letting the statement hang in the air as if revealing a profound truth. Zarna shot a glance at Taresh, whispering, I don't trust them. If these items are truly weapons, then they're either absurdly cunning or toying with us. Absurdly cunning, Taresh repeated, narrowing her eyes. This species has evolved to use these objects in warfare? Tell me, Ambassador, how do you expect to face us with such feeble weaponry? Carter smiled, holding up a seemingly innocent rubber band. Underestimate this at your own peril, General. One flick, and it becomes a weapon of pinpoint precision. He stretched it back and released it toward a diplomat, who flinched dramatically. See? Effective at close range, silent, and surprising. The alien warriors watched with varying degrees of doubt, unease, and irritation as Carter continued his demonstration, each object accompanied by exaggerated, double-meaning explanations. They could feel themselves being toyed with, yet were too proud to admit they didn't fully understand the humans' methods. Let's not forget the most dangerous weapon of all, Carter said, suddenly somber, producing a carefully wrapped sandwich. The PB&J, a devastatingly clever combination that leaves all who consume it stuck. Permanently. Taresh's eyes widened slightly, momentarily thrown. Stuck? In what way, exactly? Well, Carter said, biting back a grin. Our enemies find themselves unable to escape. Caught in the inevitable aftermath. Sticky, really. It's hard to get out of once you're in, you know? The warriors exchanged wary glances as Carter offered the sandwich forward, a twinkle in his eye. Care for a demonstration? Taresh hesitated, then gestured for her subordinates to decline. Perhaps another time. Your weapons are unusual, Ambassador, yet I sense you take them seriously. Oh, very seriously, Carter assured her, barely able to keep a straight face. We keep them close, and know exactly how to use them, especially when it counts. You see, we're armed at all times. Taresh held his gaze, still unable to fully comprehend the human's odd bravado. Taresh gathered her top warriors around her, their expressions tense and uncertain. These humans are mocking us, surely. These so-called weapons can't possibly be a threat to the Karth Dominion. One of her captains, Galkesh, frowned. Yet they speak with such confidence, General. There's something we're missing. No species survives on a death world without serious adaptability and, perhaps, a unique form of cunning. Taresh huffed, her pride flickering with doubt. Their bravado is unusual, yes, but nothing more than a ploy, I'd wager. She glanced at Carter's image on the screen, his easy grin as frustrating as it was unnerving. Ambassador Carter, enough games. Show us what your planet truly has to offer in terms of battle tactics. We didn't travel across galaxies to observe paperclips and PB&JS. Carter's grin widened, leaning into the tension. Oh, but these are just the tip of the iceberg, General. You see, Earth has a particular style. We call it psychological warfare. We don't always win battles through brute force alone. Sometimes it's about unsettling the opponent's mind. Galkesh snorted, muttering. How does one conquer an enemy with words? Oh, it's effective, Carter replied, his voice dropping to a low, serious tone. You see, we Earthlings are trained to keep our opponents off balance. To plant little seeds of doubt. Like, for instance, that the weapons you're mocking are actually a diversion. A way to keep your focus on things that aren't even our real threat. The alien warriors exchanged uneasy glances, a seed of doubt beginning to take root. Taresh frowned. Then, where is this so-called real threat, Ambassador? Carter gave a slow smile. Why, it's been right here all along. Didn't you wonder why our weapons are so small and why we laugh at the thought of an invasion? He leaned forward, lowering his voice conspiratorially. It's because we have a secret weapon, one we carry at all times. It's right between our legs. Taresh and her warriors fell silent, unsure if they were being insulted or threatened. Carter, sensing their confusion, continued. Humans have something no other species can wield, a potent mix of wit and resilience. You could call it our hidden arsenal. You might not see it, but it's always ready, and when deployed, it's unstoppable. The Karth warriors shifted uncomfortably. The double meaning and layered threats in his words left them questioning his every statement. Galkesh finally broke the silence. Perhaps the humans' true strength isn't in their weapons but in their strange adaptability. Carter's smile widened. Now you're getting it. While you're focused on the weapons in our hands, the real danger lies in how we handle unexpected situations. Let me put it another way, we don't just fight with our weapons, we think with them. And we're loaded with surprises. Taresh's pride was beginning to crack under the constant taunts and half-veiled implications. So you intend to fight us, with ideas? With mere tactics of the mind? Exactly, Carter replied, relishing the moment. For us, the mind is the ultimate weapon. We're never unarmed, General. Wherever we go, we bring our arsenal of strategy. And while you may carry brute strength, we carry something far more unpredictable. Galkesh shifted, a flicker of worry crossing his features. These humans, he muttered to Taresh. They may possess forms of warfare we haven't considered. Their humor and psychological tactics could mask weapons beyond our understanding. Taresh's confidence began to waver. Ambassador Carter, she said, her voice strained but dignified. We Karth warriors rely on honor and strength in battle. Are you implying that your people would trick us? Use our own strengths against us? Carter's gaze held steady. It's not a trick, General. It's a skill. To us, true strength is knowing when to strike and when to hold back. We may not flaunt our weapons, but rest assured, they're close to us at all times. And once unleashed, you'll realize Earth is far deadlier than you imagined. Taresh's face darkened, her pride and frustration battling within her. But the seed of doubt had been firmly planted, and even her most loyal captains were no longer certain of their superiority. Ambassador Carter leaned back, watching the tension ripple through the ranks of the Karth warriors on the screen. Taresh looked to her captains, clearly unsettled, before returning her gaze to Carter. Very well, Ambassador, she said, her voice forced and measured. If this hidden strength of yours is truly that formidable, perhaps we'll let our actions speak louder. Prepare yourself, for we will soon test your so-called arsenal on the battlefield. Carter kept his expression steady, barely concealing a smile. Oh, General, we've been prepared all along. In fact, Earth's been waiting for a worthy opponent to stretch its muscles. One of the Karth captains scoffed. We've seen nothing but trivial trinkets and idle threats. Are you all this overconfident? Carter's gaze grew intense. Confidence, perhaps. But it's more than that. It's knowing we can win because of who we are. We Earthlings have evolved under constant pressure, finding strength in every weakness, adapting faster than any other species could imagine. We don't need to wield overt power because our strength is always in reach. The screen flickered as Carter's team activated a display of Earth's history. Clips of battles, triumphs, disasters, and rebirths flashed across the screen, humanity's endless cycle of survival and resilience. The Karth warriors stared, taking in the ferocity and raw willpower displayed. The images left them silent, their arrogance cracking as they witnessed humanity's history of enduring against all odds. "That's right," Carter continued, his voice rising. "You see, humans don't just fight with weapons, we fight with every part of us. Mind, body, and spirit. Every setback we've ever faced has only made us stronger, more prepared. You think we hide our weapons? No, General, we are our weapons." Taresh narrowed her eyes, visibly shaken but unwilling to concede. "Words and history don't make a warrior. Power does. And you believe brute power alone is all it takes?" Carter leaned forward, his tone sharp. "Your kind may rely on strength, but we rely on resilience, on strategy. While you focus on what's in front of you, we're already 10 steps ahead. You wouldn't even know where or when our real strength would hit you." One of the captains whispered to Taresh, "They may truly be carrying something, beyond our sight. Perhaps we underestimated them." Taresh shook her head, clinging to her pride. "The Karth Dominion has conquered countless worlds, Ambassador. We will not be intimidated by tales and riddles." "Then allow me one final riddle," Carter said, his eyes gleaming. "Imagine facing an opponent that never tires, that adapts to every blow, that laughs in the face of adversity. A creature that stands, time and time again, no matter the odds. How do you conquer that, General?" Taresh paused, visibly rattled. She turned to Galkesh, whose own expression had shifted from doubt to something closer to respect. "Perhaps, the ambassador speaks truth. Perhaps there is a threat we cannot see. Their confidence suggests something we do not fully understand." Carter seized the moment. "We don't conquer by destroying. We conquer by outlasting, by learning, by becoming more than our enemies expect. You may have conquered worlds, General, but Earth is no ordinary world. It's a death world, and yet here we stand. Think about that." Taresh's face darkened as the gravity of Carter's words sank in. She looked at her captains, many of whom were now silent, considering the implications of what they had heard. There was an uneasy realization dawning on each of them, a humbling reminder that perhaps they had underestimated their adversary. Carter leaned back, letting silence fill the space as his final words lingered. "You came here to mock us, General. You thought we were small, insignificant. But remember this, Earthlings don't fight for power or conquest. We fight because survival is in our blood. And when it matters, we're far deadlier than any weapon you could imagine." The Karth warriors were left with a choice: to leave or risk facing an opponent they couldn't understand, one that thrived under pressure and saw every obstacle as another test. And as Taresh's image flickered on the screen, Carter could see the realization dawning on her face. "Ambassador Carter," Taresh finally said, voice restrained. "Perhaps there is wisdom in respecting what we don't yet understand." Carter smiled, a mixture of satisfaction and relief in his expression. "Respect is mutual, General. Earth is a formidable ally and a relentless foe. Choose your path wisely." With that, the screen went dark, leaving Carter and his team in silence, their victory won not with weapons but with the power of humanity's indomitable spirit.